Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a big show lineup, a special guest here. But first, our weather brought to us by Hayden Tactical Center at the corner of Baldwin and Highway 77. High today, 86 and low 70. It's getting warm again. It's really nice weather. The water temperature is 77.4, and that's gone. It's dropped from 78 to 77.4, but we have some good warm weather right offshore here. So the river readings, this is what we talked about yesterday, it's dropping out. It's hard to believe the Apalachicola, folks, is at 3.5. This is a really, this is the lowest it's been since early winter time. So this is, for this year, 2017, this is the lowest mark, 3.5 we've had. And it's still dropping out. Locals call it falling out, is what they call it, okay? Choctawhatchee at Caryville, 4.9, it's going up. It's going to jump up and get up around 6. So the rivers are going the opposite direction this morning. Our river readings are always brought to us by Sandhill Seafood and Restaurant. If you can't stop by there and eat, just stop by and get some fresh seafood and get ready for your weekend and cook some good fresh fish or shrimp or some kind of good seafood. Our tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. Today is May the 3rd. We're looking at good strong tides. Today we're looking at low at 132. We just had it this morning, and a high in the middle of the afternoon. So we got an incoming tide coming in pretty strong. Got about a 1.8 foot range right there. And it's a good situation. But the marine forecast is going to be coming out of southeast today. Yesterday was out of north. Today swinging back out of southeast at about 10 to 20. When I say 10 to 20 now, you're going to get gusts sometimes up to 25. So it's going to be pretty strong. All right, let's take our break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. And Captain Rick Corley, welcome.
Good morning.
We're sitting here talking about the wind.
Yep.
And I started looking back. I was just going to show you. So, okay, look, April 5th, 20 to 23. April is 6, 20 to 30. The 7th, 15 to 20. I mean, here's 10 to 15. Okay, all through this month of April. You brought up something interesting about April.
Yeah, well, April is the only month that's never been a hurricane. There've been a couple of tropical storms, but they don't usually, and they usually don't do much. They're out in mid-Atlantic usually. Mm-hmm. But April, you know, sometimes those March winds hang in there. And when March goes out like a lion, April arrives just like one.
Yeah, you know what's amazing is it just stayed on for so long. It wasn't just like a breezy one day, but just day after day after day after day.
Yeah.
And this past weekend, and I know you're on the water all the time, and you see boats reacting, all kind of having different things happen to them.
Yep. People forget. Small craft warnings, they think, well, I've got a 30-foot boat. Mm-hmm. They're thinking it's for a 16-foot boat. No, it's not. Small craft is anything less than 20 meters, which is 65.6 feet. Okay? Now, the small craft warnings go into effect at 18 knots or 20 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. And so if you got, like say, 20 mile an hour winds, don't go out there and expect it's going to be nice.
Okay, so we're gonna have a case in point now. Matthew Hilgenberg sent this in the Panama City fishing page. We're going to take a look at this. It's down at Mexico Beach. Let's go back here. What has happened now? This boat is trying to get out there, Rick, and you've been in that canal. That don't look real safe, does it?
No.
And but they're bound and determined to get out there. And I don't know if you saw. The whole weekend was like this. Yeah.
Well, the thing about that right there is if you were to get hit by one of those, get turned broadside, and the second one hits you just right, turn the boat over. That happens quite often. And the problem there is he's come down probably for a week, and I just got to go fishing while I'm down here. Mm-hmm. Well, no, don't do that. Sometimes the better part of valor say, well, we'll have to go fishing next time because this time it ain't, it ain't suitable. A good rule of thumb, measure your boat's waterline length. Mm-hmm. If the predicted weather is for 10% of the length of that water line in height. In other words, let's say your water line on your boat's 30 foot long. Up to a 3 foot wave, you're going to be comfortable. When you get up to 20%, a 6 foot wave, you're going to start saying, this is not a lot of fun, and I really don't like being here. When you get to 30% of that water line length, as a rule of thumb, you're in dangerous waters because now you're reaching, most small boats are built about 1/3 as wide as they are long. So you're getting to that point that if you get hit by a wave and it knocks you around, and then another one hits you and leans you over, and another one hits you before you can recover, you turn the boat up.
Yeah, I saw 2 pictures this past weekend of 2 different boats. One has crashed into the jetties, and it all crumbled up and all. I didn't hear much about it. And one of them had been washed ashore at Shell Island because I know that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
And they just turned sideways. And especially when people go out and rent a boat. Of course, if they rent, they're going to tell you not to go outside the pass, but some people are going to do it anyway. A good phrase I always think about, I've heard it a long time, but it makes a lot of sense when just in life in general, but especially boats and weather. And the quote is, be smart with your stupid.
Yeah.
And you're gonna make some. You got to go out. Got to go out. Well, you don't have to get out there in the middle of the Gulf.
No.
And so you try to get out of the wind if you have to get out there and all. But this video we just showed at Mexico Beach, that was not a smart thing to do.
I worked for an old man named Claude Tudwell back when I was about 12, 14 years old. I was deckhand on a boat called Cerebeth. We would go, and if he turned that corner at Grand Lagoon there, and he looked out there, and he made the judgment call. He said, well, folks, we're going fishing, but we're going to be bay fishing today.
Yeah.
And we'd go down to Buoy 11 and go about 100 yards north of that and them old pipes that used to be in there and catch a few grouper and snapper right there. And the snapper and the grouper are beginning to come back in the bay a little bit that way because of the shepherd of the fishing industry. But that was one of the things he would do. And I mean, this was a 42-foot boat that would, be pretty good in 4-foot seas. But he'd say, no, you ain't gonna be comfortable. You wouldn't be happy out there. Let's go fishing in the bay.
And that's we're talking about saltwater and all that, but it's the same way on Lake Seminole, Lake Talquin, because a lot of times the boats are smaller, so the wave may not be as big as the Gulf, but in relation to that small boat,
to that waterline length, it is.
And it seems to happen a lot during duck season. The duck hunters sometimes get out there
and cold water. You fall in cold water, the shock value. You don't. It's like in the North Atlantic. I got washed off the stern of a tug. And
you did?
Yeah, but I didn't get wet because I caught the hawser going over the side. I only got wet from the knees down, and that old boy said, for an old man, you're pretty good. You look like a squirrel coming up that power line. And I said, well.
You said you were motivated.
Yeah, I was motivated. Saltwater freezes at 28 degrees, and they was ice crystals in that water. And I said, 28-degree water, when it hits you, I guarantee you notice it. It hurts, and you want out of it right quick. But if I hadn't, you got 2 minutes of useful consciousness up there, and then 12 minutes. If they don't get you back aboard, you're dead. Well, it usually takes that long to get turned around. So I did not want to wind up there permanently. Yeah. So I just got wet from the knees down because I caught that hawser and scrambled back up on deck just as quick as I could.
That would have been a good video.
I guess, but I didn't think about video at the time. That wasn't on my mind. I was wanting back on that boat.
Next time you do that, put a GoPro on and we'll do it. I'll take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. See, Captain Rick Corley, we're getting ready next Tuesday night now, up here at grand opening of the free fishing seminar, Sea Deck Marine. Mark and Michael Cowell will be giving a free redfish clinic, how to catch redfish. There'll be some pizza there, and I'll have my boat. We'll have a good time next Tuesday at 5:30. It's all free and good fellowship among some outdoor guys and girls. So looking forward to seeing y'all there. All right, now, look, we got a couple of pictures here. Wes Davis sent us in Panama City hunting. I know Wes is one of my former students. He's up front is Justin Gilman. Folks, this is a 400-plus pound right there.
That's a lot of bacon.
That is a lot of bacon. This is a local one now. They've been chasing this one for a couple of years. But look at the tusk. We're talking about tusk on a wild hog. That right there can really do a lot of damage and can kill a dog and really hurt somebody.
Hurt you too.
It can slice your leg. They're as sharp as a razor blade. So.
Emery Gay Hobbs one time, one about that size, got him put 104 stitches in his leg.
104 stitches.
Yes, sir. I mean, right now.
Yeah, there's nothing to play around with, and especially one of a big old wild boar like that. They're going to come at you, and they're not going to stop unless a bullet stops them. So be aware of it. But we do have those big hogs around here, and I know you've heard about all the hog trouble we're having.
Yeah, they need. If you see a hog, just shoot him.
Yeah. I mean, really,
just shoot him. Yeah.
Victor Haskell took his wife fishing, and she's the one who caught the fish. Look at there.
Yep.
But they're fishing up at Lake Martin, but he look at this. It was cloudy, windy, cool, and post spawn. You don't really want to. Go fishing on the days. So he's scheduling sometimes. Pretty fish up there. Lake Martin. I've never fished Lake Martin. I always heard a lot of good things about it.
North of Montgomery.
Now here's our buddy Kenny Bostic. He's up there in Missouri. He's got a farm up there. And Miller Nixon visited with him. And Kenny and his family goes up there twice a year in the spring and fall. And here they are. Y'all remember Miller Nixon? His daddy was Irby Nixon, was principal at Mowat for about 40-something years. He lived to be 90. Irby lived to be 96, I think. But anyway, here's Miller. Miller went out and visited, got a nice gobbler last week in the rain and all. Good job, Miller Nixon. All right, let's go to the next one here. This is a good one. Bubba Hart, one of our good sponsors here. Nothing like being outfished by your son. Look at that. Bubba, his fish is bigger than him.
Yeah.
Good one. And we're going to try to get Bubba over there next week, too. This is a group I talked to Saturday at the downtown, at the First Methodist downtown. Great group of young people, a lot of things going on, all kind of stuff that day, and they were really interesting group of young people to work with. Had about 60-something there. Good day right there. Bob Thomas and brother-in-law Jerry Hall of Panama City have caught over 200 slab shell crackers on their annual trip to Lake Panasofsky, just south of Wildwood. And he used Calhoun County earthworms. Look at this, check this out. Look at there. They go once a year down to Lake Panasofsky and they have a nice trip, 200 something. That's a big fish fry. And they get back and have a big fish fry. Here's our buddy Big Jim. He's walking the Appalachian Trail. He stops along the way and puts a poster up and all, Hope in Jesus Christ for addiction awareness. He was addicted and he's walking. He's broken it now and doing a good job trying to help other folks. He's been on the show. Here he is. He stopped up there in Cleveland, Tennessee, and I know you know how these church people are. He likes to speak at these churches because they're going to feed them. Right. One thing about it, if you stop somewhere at a church, there always be some ladies there going to bring you some food. So I bet he got fed good. Yep. All right, let's get back to the fishing. Here's Chris Rushing with 7 bass. That's over the weekend. He got it in a situation where he get out of the wind, and that's where he got those bass right there. Good job there. All right, a couple more. I like this one. Talking about boats now. Hey, Winston, this is from Tony Johnson. I just wanted to send you a picture of my most prized possession. It's a 1999 Stratus 201 with a 225 Evinrude. I'll be sending you lots more with fish in a live well. Hope it's all well today and putting God first and doing something good for your fellow man.
I'll bet you that thing will fly.
You know, we're talking about, that's a 1999 boat, and a lot of times these old boats don't get the credit they deserve. These old boats are, they're well built. Have they been taken care of?
Yep. Well, a lot of the time, back, for example, on old Hatteras, they're slower because they're heavy. But they didn't know how strong they needed to be built, so they way overbuilt the boats. And, of course, as it went along and with the research, they began to find out and keeping records, we don't have to build them that heavy. And we can use lighter materials and make them go faster, but they don't hold up as long.
Yeah.
And some of the older boats, like a 1968 Hatteras, is a tank.
Yeah.
I mean, it's built heavy.
I bet it does, but it takes that wave well, don't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And you find, too, I know you see this every time you do, you get these old boats, and sometimes in between, they have water in between them.
Yep.
And because they made it, there was a lot of them had little wood ribs and all.
Right, and they wind up getting in there or in core balsa later on, and some of them in the 80s, they like that Encore balsa. The only bad part about Encore balsa, once it gets wet, it turns to mud. It's not no strength to it, and that ruins the boat.
But I know you saw some good designs too on some of the older boats.
Oh yes.
A couple more pictures, and we're going to come back next segment and talk about these boats. Here's Tay Woodfalk. He said he lost one, but I got this one right here. Good job, Tay Woodfalk, the Woodfalk family. When you look at this, you think you're looking at some chocolate. But folks, y'all try to guess what this is. This is from Justin Brogdon. If you know Justin is a big shark fisherman. So right now they're just catching some shark bait, and because sharks love these rays.
Yep.
And that's what he's doing right there.
They eat good.
They eat good.
Yeah. And sometimes when you get what they call deep sea scallop, it's really ray.
Billy Grantham sent this, and he said, as you say, they're biting on the big river. That's some pretty fish right there.
Mm-hmm.
Nice fish right there. Okay,
I bet somebody eat one of them.
I bet they're going to eat them,
yeah.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Glad you're with us this morning. Let's take a look at our fishing game time today, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers down in Port St. Joe. 7:18 to 9:18 this morning, and tonight 7:43 to 9:43. We were talking about right now, April, and it's such a great time. April and May is such a great time for spring fishing, and I know you see there's a lot of Spanish mackerel being caught.
Yep.
But also. We talked about it a lot yesterday, but this morning I want to talk about old boats and all, about some of the things you need to look for if you're going to buy an old boat.
Well, now if you're buying a boat, basically the best thing you can look for is, of course, fiberglass, steel, or aluminum. Wood boats, they're still around, and people think, well, I got a great deal. Maybe. Because the problems you have with some of the things about wood boats is, first of all, you got to find somebody that knows how to survey them. Secondly, is how a good shipwright that can repair them when it comes time. Also, finding out the history on some of these wood boats when they're a lot older, like they are now. Because some woods are not compatible with others. One of the things I've seen happening a lot in wood boats is people now, we're getting better technology on things, such as fasteners and things. However, let's say you got an old Harker's Island built boat that was built up in North Carolina back in 30, 40 years ago. Well, back then they used silicon bronze a lot as fasteners. So then a guy says, well, I need to refashion my boat. She's beginning to get a little old and weak and tired, and I need to put some new timbers in. I'm going to use stainless steel fasteners. He thinks I'm fixing things better because these stainless steel fasteners will be great. They won't, corrode or anything. Well, the only problem is there is a thing called electrolysis in wood. Now, in metal boats and in fiberglass, where you have through holes and all, there's a thing called stray current corrosion. But in wood boats, it is electrolysis. You hear people use electrolysis is the term, but it's not. It's stray current corrosion in the other boats. But in wood, it is truly electrolysis that happens in the wood. And what happens is when you put that stainless steel fastener in there, and you got silicon bronze right close to it, you've made a battery. You've got dissimilar metals, and it's sitting in an electrolyte called salt water. Well, what it does is it puts it in millivolts. Now, you wouldn't feel the current.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
But if you put a multimeter on it, you will see it in millivolts, as they call it. Well, you've got a current flowing. What happens is then your electron flow is the other way off of your atoms, and it rots the wood right around that fastener. Well, that lets the boat get weak, and then, of course, you can't fix it because you don't remember where you put all those things. So now you've just destroyed your boat in a few years without realizing it. I've had a few of those happen. Yes, I have.
Yeah.
And you have to do what we call red pencil. In other words, the boat can't be fixed, take it out of service.
Yeah. Okay, let's just jump on the other extreme end on these smaller boats. A lot of these boys are getting these even old Kennedy craft. I saw a board I know the other day. He's taking old Kennedy craft, old Queen craft, and redoing it and making a little flounder rig out of it. Now, you know, those boats were built pretty good.
Yes, they were.
Both of those.
There's some things you can do in Queen craft. They build a heck of a aluminum boat.
And the big thing I noticed with them, though, in that design, you're going to get too much weight forward if you're not careful.
If you're not careful.
Because they're trying to put a platform on it.
Yes.
For floundering. So you got the balance is something.
Yeah, you got it. It's just like I have seen some people that decided to go to a 4-stroke engine.
Yeah.
And the boat was designed for a 2-stroke. Well, you got to remember, 4-stroke's a lot heavier than a 2-stroke engine, and you get the boat out of center of gravity, and you have a vent height on some motors that you got to have a certain distance above the water to that vent. Well, if you change the balance of that boat, you can ingest water in that motor, and guess what? You voided your
for the
warranty because you got it too close to the water or whatever. And some people will go and they'll put a gill bracket on. Well, you're moving all of that weight further back. That's called workforce. That's leverage.
And that's the point I was making. You don't realize you're doing that.
Yeah, you don't realize you're doing it. The other thing is, if you go and you put a motor on a boat and you've got a builder's tag in it that says the boat's rated for 1,200 pounds of people or so many people, and such horsepower, let's say 250 horsepower motor, and you put 300 on it, you don't have insurance.
Yeah.
You've just voided your insurance. The boats are designed for a certain amount of horsepower to carry a certain amount of weight, and if you get outside those parameters, you're just giving the adjuster the way to keep from paying your insurance. They give you your money back and say, see ya. I mean, your premium's back, but that's not going to help you. You're wanting to cover your damages or whatever. Well, you got to stay within those parameters, or you don't have any.
So be aware of this and all when you're out boat shopping for good used boats and all. And if you can, try to get a new one. If not, make sure you get a good used one.
If you, no matter what, really and truly, a survey, what it does is it tells you what you got on the boat, but it also.
We got to go.
We got to go. Okay.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it.
Sir.
Thank y'all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Y'all do something good for a fellow man today. You have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.